The urban landscape of Vancouver looks very modern, and in fact it is, because the city was only named about 185 years ago. In fact, it's a mixture of old and new, but old isn't very old. These are some of the older properties, and they mingle with the newer ones. Odd-shaped flats here. The origins of the city are here in Gastown. In fact, the founding fathers named Vancouver some 185 years ago. Nearby is a statue of Gassy Jack. He came from Hull originally, and he was called Gassy Jack because he used to be giving long-winded monologues, hence Gassy Jack. And this is a bit of a tourist attraction in the old part of Vancouver. Further along the road is one of the most famous sites, not only in Vancouver, but everybody who goes to Vancouver is asked, "Did you see the clock?" And this is the famous clock, the famous steam clock. And it blows off every hour. So we're approaching 11 o'clock. Getting around in Vancouver is very easy with this hopping on and off trolley bus, which takes you to the most important tourist points. This distant view of Stanley Park is one of the main features of Vancouver, a mixture of some natural woodland and also parks and gardens, and probably most important of all, the aquarium, with a good variety of fish mainly from the Pacific Ocean.
Joining us on this journey today. Leading us off, we have Leonore right here in the center. She is going to be working over on the island. That is Morrow. Morrow's going to be working with Aurora and Kavna coming up right there. And also making his way around the front is Indy. And Indy's going to be working with Keela today. She'll give you guys all a pectoral wave so you can pick good work, you guys. Well, making their way through all this ice to find there, even in the pitch black, because instead of always using their eyes, they also use echoes and their ears. Are so comfortable in shallow waters is because they're very flexible and they can wiggle their way right off that. Yes, and while we still call her a baby, as I said, she's almost 11. But one thing you'll notice about her is that she is quite gray compared to the rest of the belugas. And that's because baby belugas are born a slate gray color and they get whiter and whiter as they get older. So check out all our belugas. Keela and Emac, we have indeed reached the tail end of our show. So on behalf of the beluga whales and our trainers, thank you guys so much for coming on this journey up to the Arctic.
Look, right there. Oops.
재밌잖아. 먹는 거 봐.
귀여워.
주는 대로 그렇게 안 돼.
아, 조개살이다.
조개살이야, 조개살.
아니, 얘 눈이 안 보이잖아.
The influence of water is never far away, and this is the yacht club of Vancouver. Very, very posh affair. To get from one part of Vancouver, the south side, to the north side, the bridge, Lions Gate Bridge, is the main thoroughfare for vehicles.
이다.
The more expensive way is to go by one of these planes, which eventually gets up off the water. A lot of people travel each day on the ferry, which is part of the well-integrated transport system of train, ferry and bus on the other side. As we leave the ferry port, we get a fine view of Canada Place. This is where the cruise liners dock. What a difference between Sapphire Princess and the Zuiderdam on the other side of the jetty. This is the Holland America line, Zuiderdam. The ferry is taking us across the Burrard Inlet, across to North Vancouver, and from there our next port of call is the Capilano Suspension Bridge. It was Saturday afternoon and there was something of a bit of excitement going on. We certainly got a nice welcome.
The whole world smiles with you. When you're laughing, when you're laughing, the sun will shine through. But when you're crying, darkness and sorrow, don't know what to do. Stop it! You bring on the rain, so stop that crying. Be happy again, keep on smiling. 'Cause when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. Keep on smiling, 'cause when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. Sing the song side by side.
We actually came to see the suspension bridge. It was built there to connect the forestry area on either side of the river. It's the suspension bridge, but it doesn't half swing about, as you can tell. The camera was being kept still, but nevertheless it's a bit jerky. Canadian cousin Jeff looked a little bit anxious about it. gave us a nervous wave as the river below danced up and down. And this diagram shows the age process. On the left, telling us that that was what it was like 12,000 years ago, and then on the right what it's like today, the manufacture of this huge gorge. A walk in the forest can be done at about 50 or 60 feet above ground on this tree walk. The trees grow tall and straight, and this is Grandma Capilano. In fact, the diagram is showing probably one of the biggest trees, Douglas fir, in North Vancouver. But Grandma Capilano is quite impressive. And this is the lady herself, Grandma Capilano.
Babies shoveling sorrow, but we'll travel the road, sharing our load, side by side. Through all kinds of weather, what if the sky should fall? Just as long as we're together, it doesn't matter at all.
When in British Columbia, you're never very far from a totem pole. I think these are modern versions, but there are some old ones around. A totem pole tells the family history, but I think these are very modern ones. There was a bit of craft work going on at this site at Capilano Bridge. And I think this is an attempt to keep alive the old crafts and the old ways of life. This man was hiding under a lampshade, doing his designs. We came to see a bridge, but we got more than we bargained for. Very entertaining.
And the old man himself, though it weighed not a penny weight more, it was bought on the morn of the day that he was born, and it always awoke him with chimes. But it stopped short, never to go again, when the old man